Hi, this is Don Farber with VineyardSoft Corporation, and I'd like to welcome you to this presentation of the Alerts and Workflow for Sage solution. This presentation will take between 15 and 20 minutes. Now I'd like to start out by giving you a little bit of background about VineyardSoft Corporation. We are the developer of the Alerts and Workflow solution. We've been around since 1999, and since that time, over 7,500 organizations worldwide have adopted the Alerts and Workflow technology. Since 1999, we've been the recipient of numerous awards and commendations. Most recently, Forbes magazine awarded the Alerts and Workflow solution their commendation for top productivity enhancing tool. Now, when we first created Alerts and Workflow, we did so very specifically to address the cost of not knowing or of knowing too late. And to help illustrate that, we'd like to take you through the following business scenario. Let's say that you have a client who normally pays for their AR invoices within 30 days, but now for some reason they have some invoices that are up to 45 days old, perhaps some $30,000 or so worth of due invoices. Now, you might not know about this $30,000 debt. Why? Because you wait until the end of the month to run your AR aging report. So between now and then, it's quite possible that this client might come back to you, place another order with you, and then when month end does finally come around and you run your AR aging reports, you discover that this client owes you quite a considerable amount of money. Well, there are two options for what might happen. Neither one of them is terribly appealing. First of all, you might just have to wait for that client to come up with the $55,000 that they owe you. They are now using you as their personal lending institution. Of course, the worst scenario is the fact that this client goes out of business, leaves you holding the bag for $55,000, and that's not appealing at all. So, how would you address this situation? How would you prevent it from occurring in the future? Well, first of all, as soon as that client becomes overdue, more than 30 days or more than a certain dollar value, you would automatically notify their account manager or salesperson. At the same time, you might also automatically notify your finance department to have them start collections from this client. Also, simultaneously, perhaps it would be nice to resend the client a copy of their statement or even copies of their overdue invoices. Importantly, let's prevent that subsequent order from being placed by having that client automatically put on credit hold within your ERP system as soon as it is discovered that they have overdue receivables. And finally, enable your AR aging report to automatically run when a client's balance gets beyond a certain threshold as determined by you. These types of capabilities are what are provided through the solution called Alerts and Workflow. Alerts and Workflow really addresses the challenge of not knowing, because quite simply there is so much information within your ERP and related systems that you simply don't have the time and resources to keep on top of it. Often, by the time you become aware of certain business conditions or activities that require your attention, it's too late to act on them. And so, we have a solution like Alerts and Workflow. Classified under the heading of Business Activity Monitoring, or a BAM solution, the purpose of Alerts and Workflow is to automatically monitor, deliver, and act on critical business information within your Sage solutions. Now, as I mentioned, the categorization of this technology is BAM, or Business Activity Monitoring. And the key aspect of a BAM solution is that it is an automated process. Instead of waiting for someone to run reports, instead of waiting for someone to review those reports, instead of waiting for someone to take action in response to what they see on those reports, a BAM solution automatically performs the monitoring, the communications, and the response to those critical business conditions. If, as an organization, you're interested in what's called exception management, looking for those transactions, those activities that fall outside of normal, acceptable business activities, then a BAM solution is right for you. Now let's take a closer look at the components of the Alerts and Workflow solution. Alerts and Workflow starts out by monitoring your Sage ERP application for any conditions that are important to you. For example, overdue receivables, the scenario we just discussed. Stock that's approaching its reorder level. Clients who have not ordered from you in a certain number of days or have changed their buying habits. It is safe to say that any business condition within your ERP solution that's of importance to you can be monitored and responded to by Alerts and Workflow. And of course that goes across your entire ERP solution, not just looking at financial details, but also looking at the manufacturing side of your solution as well. Project delays, cost overruns, etc. In fact, out of the box, Alerts and Workflow ships with anywhere between 50 and 80 pre-configured events for your Sage ERP solution. But you know, it's worth mentioning about Alerts and Workflow is the fact that it's not just designed to monitor ERP data. No organization runs their business on just a single software application. Chances are you've got other applications like a customer service application, a sales application, or an HR solution. Here we have examples of customer service related business conditions that Alerts and Workflow can also monitor and respond to. And as I mentioned, in the sales world as well, how valuable would it be to have a process that automatically monitors open sales opportunities that have not been followed up on by your sales staff? That's one of the most common uses of Alerts and Workflow with sales or CRM solutions. But in addition to monitoring information in application databases like ERP, CRM, and HR, Alerts and Workflow also has the ability to monitor the content of incoming email. Because you know, most organizations get a lot of incoming email, especially to generic email addresses like info@ or support@yourcompany.com. Also, if your organization has a website, chances are you've got forms on that website that allows people to request information, ask questions, etc. And my question to you is, whose job is it today to monitor entries made to those web forms? And at the same time, whose job is it to monitor those email messages that are sent to those generic accounts? Or in truth, are those generic accounts simply places where email messages go to die? You need to monitor and respond to that aspect of your business activity. Now, I've talked about how Alerts and Workflow can monitor information in your Sage ERP application as well as information in other applications like CRM and HR. But Alerts and Workflow also has the unique capability of identifying conditions that exist between your multiple business applications. For example, you might have an ERP application for managing your accounting and manufacturing, but you might also have a CRM or sales application. And how nice would it be, for example, to know when a new sales opportunity is entered in your CRM application for a customer who might have overdue invoices within your ERP solution, customer who's on credit hold, or in this particular scenario, where the amount of that new sales opportunity would actually put the customer over their credit limit in your ERP solution. Cross-application monitoring. Now, Alerts and Workflow also has a couple of minor monitoring modules. Over on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see an area called OS, or Operating System Monitoring. Now, Alerts and Workflow is not trying to compete with the likes of Norton or Semantic Tools, but for basic system monitoring, such as looking for low disk space on your database server, looking for a user who's let their Microsoft Outlook email box fill up, or simply looking for someone trying to break into one of your organization's servers, Alerts and Workflow can perform that monitoring as well. And because the information that Alerts and Workflow delivers to people, whether it's invoices, statements, purchase orders, etc., are very important to the success of your business, Alerts and Workflow has the ability to determine whether its notifications, whether its forms, documents, etc., successfully reach their intended recipients. We refer to this as delivery monitoring. And if the intended recipient for a specific alert or piece of information is not available, maybe you have an invalid email address or cell phone number, then Alerts and Workflow will automatically fail over that alert to an alternate recipient. Speaking about alerts, the methods by which Alerts and Workflow can notify people are listed for you at the bottom center of this slide. As you can see, they include email, cell phones such as text messaging, fax, web dashboard, screen pop or instant message, and so on. One of the questions that always gets asked about Alerts and Workflow is what email systems does it support? It's a good question, fortunately with an easy answer, all of them. Microsoft Outlook or Exchange-based email, Internet or SMTP-based mail, Lotus Notes mail, GroupWise, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo Mail, all supported by Alerts and Workflow. Amongst the more recent alert delivery methods that were added to Alerts and Workflow are what we refer to as Web Dashboard and also Instant Message. For web dashboards, these dashboards can be either in graphic format or simply showing details of individual conditions, records, orders, stock items that meet certain criteria. These dashboards are automatically updated by Alerts and Workflow. And also on the top left of this slide, alerts via instant message. Really handy so that a person doesn't even have to open their email in order to be kept informed about what's going on. Now you've heard me make a couple of references to generating forms, documents, and reports like invoices or statements, dunning notices, or even reports like an AR aging report or stock status report. Well, Alerts and Workflow includes the Crystal Reports engine that enables Alerts and Workflow to generate and deliver an unlimited number of Crystal reports, forms, and documents. Among the more common uses of Alerts and Workflow is to automatically generate and deliver invoices for newly created orders, to send out monthly statements or resend out statements for customers who are overdue, but also to automatically generate and deliver analytical reports, such as an AR aging report, stock status report, etc. These forms, documents, and reports can be generated either on a periodic schedule, such as a daily stock status report, or they can be generated and delivered as the business conditions occur. That is, as an item approaches or drops below its stock minimum, then Alerts and Workflow can generate a stock status report specifically for that item and deliver it to the appropriate people who need to know. Now, the last component in the Alerts and Workflow solution is, in fact, its Workflow module, which many folks refer to as the ability to perform triggered updates. Using the example that we talked about earlier, where Alerts and Workflow might monitor customers to see if they have any overdue invoices. If so, Alerts and Workflow can go back into your ERP application and actually put that customer on credit hold to make sure no future orders are placed for them. Or for that matter, if a particular stock item is approaching its reorder level, Alerts and Workflow can automatically generate a purchase order within your ERP system and automatically deliver that purchase order to the corresponding supplier or vendor. Now, before we wrap up this overview of the business benefits of Alerts and Workflow, certainly we should review how it's licensed and priced. Most importantly, Alerts and Workflow is not licensed per user. It doesn't matter how many users you have within your organization, how many users of your ERP application there are, or for that matter, how many people you wish to deliver alerts to from the Alerts and Workflow solution. Instead, Alerts and Workflow is licensed by two things. Number one, the number of applications that it is monitoring, and secondly, the required functionality. If we start off up at the very top of this slide, you can see that the first license type is referred to as the Alerts Edition. This is a license of Alerts and Workflow that lets you monitor a single application, such as your ERP solution, for an unlimited number of conditions using both the pre-configured conditions that come with Alerts and Workflow and also any additional events, as we call them, that you wish to design yourself. So an unlimited number of alerts sent to an unlimited number of recipients, via all of the devices mentioned earlier: email, cell phone, instant message, dashboard, etc. For that license type, you would be looking at a one-time license cost of just under $1,800 and annual or reoccurring maintenance and support of just under $400. Now, to that Alerts Edition license, you can add two optional modules. First, called the Reports module, as its name implies, is the ability for you to utilize Alerts and Workflow to automatically generate and deliver an unlimited number of forms, documents, and reports to an unlimited number of recipients. That by itself, one-time cost of just under $500. The second and only other optional module is referred to as the Actions module. This is the ability for Alerts and Workflow to go back into your ERP application, or for that matter any other application, and actually add or update records, such as putting an overdue customer on credit hold or creating a purchase order for an item that has reached its reorder level. For each additional application that you might wish to monitor, such as a sales or CRM application, or perhaps an HR application, it's an additional $1,799 for monitoring that additional application. However, you cannot possibly spend more than just under $8,700, down at the very bottom of this slide, for what's called the unlimited application version of Alerts and Workflow. This would enable you to use the Alerts and Workflow solution to monitor every single business application that you own today. That includes custom applications as well as any additional applications that you might utilize in the future, as well as the ability to utilize Alerts and Workflow to monitor both your operating system as well as an unlimited quantity of incoming email messages. Now, we finish up this presentation with a brief look at return on investment. And if, in fact, you're interested in looking further into the Alerts and Workflow solution, we strongly recommend that you visit the VineyardSoft website or the Alerts and Workflow website, as there we have a return on investment calculator so that you can see how quickly you would pay off your investment in this technology. But back about a year and a half ago, we surveyed roughly 1,100 Alerts and Workflow clients. We asked them what they were using the Alerts and Workflow solution for, and most importantly, we asked them how long it took them to pay off their investment in the Alerts and Workflow technology. Well, I'm not going to go through all of the details on this slide, but rather leave you with one last fact. The average amount of time that it took these 1,100 customers to pay off their investment in Alerts and Workflow was 88 days, just under 3 months. And that ROI considered not just the cost of the software and its maintenance and support contract, but also the cost of any implementation services that were required for the customer. Again, 88 days, just under 3 months to completely pay off the investment in Alerts and Workflow. And with that, we finish this presentation. I would certainly invite you to take a look at a following presentation, which is an actual live demonstration of the Alerts and Workflow technology. You'll see how you yourself can not only install the solution, but actually set up and configure your own events to look for specific business conditions that are most important to the success and efficiency of your own organization. Again, my name is Don Farber with VineyardSoft Corporation. I'd like to thank you very much for taking this time with me. If you do have any questions on anything that I've said over the last 15 or 20 minutes, do feel free to contact VineyardSoft, or for that matter, contact me. My phone number is 800-850-8055, and my direct extension is 113. Again, 800-850-8055, extension 113, or you can reach me via email at Farber, F-A-R-B-E-R, at vineyardsoft.com. Thanks very much, and we look forward to working with you.